Welcome to Review Rewind, the podcast where a couple with varying backgrounds and tastes watch beloved movies and answer the question, was it good? I'm Mike.
And I'm Krista.
And today we're going to be discussing
X-Men.
We have a system. No, okay. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about X-Men.
I almost tried to. So Ray's watching a different universe, DC right now. And she's watching a Batman show, and I always go, Batty Bat, Bat, Batty Bat, Bat, Bat. And I was going to try and do that with X-Men, and it would just be X, 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 and it just sounds bad if you say it over and over again.
It sounded bad when you did
X-y.
it. All right, this movie is rated PG-13 for violence. It is a sci-fi adventure fantasy action. That feels like a lot of genres.
Fantasy.
No, you can't just start with, so it'd be like sci-ven. Faux fum.
I was waiting for that. Anyway.
It was directed by Bryan Singer, written by Bryan Singer and David Hayter. It released July 14th, 2000. Y2K.
Another
baby.
Y2K baby. I was coming in to say that, but I was rubbing my ding dang eye, and
because that
stole
totally
my joke.
impairs your speech.
It did.
The runtime is an hour and 44 minutes. It's distributed by 20th Century Fox. The budget was estimated at about $75 million. In the U.S., it grossed $157 million. And worldwide, it grossed almost $300 million. So it made back its budget and then some. And then it's spawned off a giant franchise. So they definitely made their money's worth. Now it's time for the plot.
Plotty plot, plotty plot, plot, plot. Plotty plot, plot, plotty plot, plot, plot.
We'll get it one day. All right, Krista, hit us with the plot.
They are children of the atom, Homo superior, the next link in the chain of evolution. Each was born with a unique genetic mutation, which at puberty manifested itself in extraordinary powers. In a world filled with hate and prejudice, they are feared by those who cannot accept their differences. Led by Xavier, the X-Men fight to protect a world that fears them. They are locked in a battle with a former colleague and friend, Magneto, who believes humans and mutants should never coexist. Are they called the X-Men because Xavier starts with an X? So they're his men.
How about our buddies at, let me look that up. Do that for us. So when we do these shows, when we do these podcasts, we're speaking from the pretense of the movie universe. Mm-hmm. So the comic book universe doesn't exist. So we don't know. I think the X is that they're not, or they're above human. They're not exactly human.
I think that's how I always interpreted it. But then I just saw Xavier's name and I was like, oh, is that why?
Wouldn't that be just the most egotistical thing in the world? Where he's like, my name is Xavier and I have a team.
We are the X-Men.
The X-Men. That's a terrible Patrick Stewart. I want to apologize to everyone. My allergies are off the chart, and I was sick over the weekend, and so you're going to hear me sneezing and making weird...
Sneezing and a wheezing. I want to apologize to everyone because Michael brought home crumble cookie, and it's literally a plate of delectable cookie slices are sitting in front of me, and I have zero. I'm like on a negative on self-control, so you'll probably hear me crunching on something.
Which that's fine. Go for it. We can tell the folks we've got cookies and cream. We've got Muddy Buddies.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Which it's like a peanut butter cookie with chocolate on top. Which
I guess
who'd have thought?
Maybe not 10 out of 10. I'm going to take it back. I think they could do better, but it's a great start. I'm sorry. I'm going to be really
carrot
critiquing.
Cake.
Mediocre.
And then lemon bar.
Exceptional.
And we really like lemon bars. Yeah. So if you ever want to send us something, lemon bars or money.
Or cheesecake. Cheesecake is my favorite thing in the whole world.
Okay,
I just want it on record.
We're gonna go off track for a moment. Krista and I went to New York. I wanted to try the delicacies of New York, so I wanted to try a New York hot dog, which is just a Nathan's hot dog, which I like exclusively buy Nathan's hot dogs now. Wanted to try some of the Mediterranean food, the pizza, the Italian food, and then like the diners and stuff.
Mike wanted to try all this food, and I was in my first trimester of my first pregnancy.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was awful. We should
go to New York again. But we went to Junior's, and they, from my understanding, are famous for their cheesecake. So I wanted to try a genuine New York cheesecake. And I got that, and the slice was the size of like a regular dinner plate. Like it was huge. Giant. And ever since then, Krista has assumed that my favorite dessert is cheesecake, and it wasn't until like a year ago that I had to stop and go, I don't actually like cheesecake. Like it's not my favorite.
Well, you enjoy cheesecake, but it's not your favorite thing.
And now Krista has constantly been saying that my favorite dessert is cheesecake. And sometimes she lets people in on the jokes and sometimes she doesn't. So welcome to our marriage. Now, we watched this last night and man,
we've seen it. We've both seen it
before we even ask the questions, we usually go through our cycles of movies that we love. We usually try to go through the Marvel, the X-Men, Harry Potter. We try to watch those ever so often, once a year, once every 2 years, whatever it might be. And we try to go in order. X-Men has been a staple for almost their entire marriage. I think we started on it because I think you had seen some of the later ones, but not the...
I hadn't seen any. We saw one when... Whatever one came out when we were married,
First Class. I think it was First Class.
Yeah, that was my like first exposure, and I was like, maybe I should watch the other ones.
Was it First Class?
I think it was the Wolverine.
The Wolverine. The one in Japan?
I think so. I don't know.
Anyway.
Sorry, I can totally hear myself chewing.
So we went into this with fond memories because we've always really enjoyed them. Before the get-go, I have to say, this was the first time it really felt off. Like, I made a point of saying that the movie is only an hour and 45 minutes. It's only an hour and 45 minutes. I noticed that when we first watched the movie. About an hour in, I was genuinely like, this is the longest movie of my life.
We've watched it a couple times before, like in our, let's rewatch all these movies again. But I think this was the first time we were doing it and like really being critical.
And I don't know if this is the right word, but it felt like a slog. Like it's
hard. Well,
it was a hard watch.
We realized we're like, okay, there's not a lot of dialogue in it. Like,
yeah, that was the crazy thing.
The acting is bad.
Remember for a movie that battles essentially racism and science in the way of evolution and all the political things that it's doing, it really doesn't have as much dialogue as you think it does.
Yeah, and then the dialogue that they do choose are like bad lines, and it's just not good.
You said it, and I grain of salt a little bit. Like I don't fully buy into it, but there is a little bit of truth where, for the most part, everyone's kind of embarrassing. Like how they do like their character is super corny in a weird way.
Yeah, we all Mike
the whole
and I,
20 of us,
we were just like, this is like.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe as we talk through, we can splice that out.
Splice.
Like DNA for X-Men. I don't know. No, that's Jurassic Park. Okay.
Twice in one show. What a lucky viewing.
Only since the time we did Jurassic Park, because I think we did it like 8 times.
18 times.
So what did you think of the movie overall?
Bad.
Yeah.
I think it was. I feel like before was kind of like, I was like, hey, we got to watch this. You know, we're watching all the movies, but now I'm kind of like, okay, we watched it, and I think maybe after because I think it's been over a year since we've for sure over a year. And like, you know, there's been some great films since then. But it's just like I could not watch it again and be fine. Like,
and I think that's
and
their,
it doesn't.
I think that's their fault. Like, I think it's the franchise's fault because so much has happened in the franchise that contradicts the first movie.
Yeah, it's
like Professor X and Magneto met when they were 17 in this version, and this or that and the other about building Cerebro. While they still had them building Cerebro together, it was really, Beast who helped him.
Yeah.
And
well,
there's so many issues that contradict because of this movie.
Yeah.
That they didn't stick to at all.
Yeah, the thing that bugged me that I stood out a lot in this one was is it First Class? Is that like where they remade
That's
themselves?
the James McAvoy one. The first James McAvoy one.
James McAvoy,
what a delay. I love when he speaks in his normal tongue, when he doesn't hide his accent.
Normal tongue.
And I'm just like, tell me every story.
Whisper sweet nothing. Anyway, he's like best friends with Mystique. So like in this first one, when like spoilers, I guess, when Mystique is the one who poisoned Cerebro, I'm like, he would know she's there. He would feel her mind touch. That's from something else I can't think of, but like he would know. And so
there's a lot of that.
There's so much.
There's so many plot holes in the movie. Like, if Xavier is as powerful as he says he is, and if he was searching for Rogue, he was searching for Rogue, I feel like there's no way he wouldn't have sensed at least Mystique somewhere near, or any of the others. He knew Sabretooth was with him. He knew Sabretooth was one of Magneto's, goons.
And then also to talk about Sabretooth is just all...
You know what? I was thinking about it. Go for it.
What's the one with Ryan Reynolds as
Deadpool?
As bad Deadpool, yeah.
That was Wolverine Origins.
Okay.
That's a better... Liev Schreiber? Yeah, he was a more developed character.
That's
absolutely.
A better place to start. You can just...
I was thinking about that. And at some point, they could have literally said that Liev Schreiber's Sabretooth, because spoilers for the whole franchise, if you haven't gotten on board, get on board. Logan gets a gunshot to the head from an adamantium bullet, so he has amnesia. He forgets everything. That's why...
When does that happen?
In the end of that movie, Wolverine Origins.
Right.
Stick with us, Krista. Sorry, this is going to be a long ride. But he has amnesia. That's why in the first one, he can't remember where he's from. The whole storyline for Wolverine from number 1 and number 2 is him remembering his past. That's the whole... His character arc is remembering his past. And then Sabretooth is his brother, or half-brother or whatever. And he looks way different in Origins. And they could have easily explained that away. Because Magneto is trying to advance humans to be mutants in this movie. What if they had just retconned and said in one of the other ones that Sabretooth had gone through an experiment that made him more like a beast, that made him more animalistic, and that thus made him more deadly. And it would have made sense why he looked the way he did. But they did nothing ever in the franchise to go back and go, hey, this guy and this guy are the same person, but they clearly look different. And they clearly look like they've had two completely different pasts. And then Toad looked different too and has some weird timeline problems.
And if you take the context of, like, you haven't seen the Wolverine origin story, like, all you get in this first one is, why is this Sabretooth guy sort of a little weirdly infatuated with Wolverine?
Right.
It's kind of just like...
You know what? You're right.
Yeah, because it's like...
Because he steals the tag.
Yeah. And, like, you see him kind of, like, ponder. It's like, you would have no idea. Yeah.
They never explain that.
Mm-mm.
And are we to assume that he's actually dead?
Well, and...
I know they didn't get an actor in the second one or the third one to, like, fill that void. Mm-hmm. But we have this guy who presumably has similar powers. We don't know if that's true in the first one, but, you know, he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
And he gets zapped and he hits the water really hard, or the boat. But, like, would that really have killed him?
Yeah. Here's in the movie overall, what I think of, and I think we even said this last night, we were like, okay, but when this came out in 2000, the first superhero movie really ever of its kind. Or
I don't know if I would argue that. Let's put it like this. It was the first Marvel movie to have the success it did that sparked those next steps for comic book movies.
So it's like it was a launching pad movie.
Right.
And if you view it in that time, it probably was really good. But now 22 years I had to think of 22 years later, it's dated and lost its validity and continuity and isn't really worth it.
And I think we said that yesterday, that the market wasn't oversaturated at that time of big budget blockbuster superhero movies. You had the Batman movies, and then you had a ton of movies that weren't funded well. Mm-hmm. And then this movie, $75 million 22 years ago, was a bit of money. Was it the most? No, but it wasn't that much less than maybe what a minimum budget movie would do now. And I think it's the choices they made that really feel off.
Yeah.
Like, clearly they spent a lot of money on CGI, and some of it is bad. And not because it was 2000, but because it was a bad choice. We had talked about it when Wolverine first expands his blades. It's all CGI.
Yeah.
When later in the movie, they give him real knives or looking knives. Mm-hmm. And those look great. And maybe they couldn't figure out how to do it with his bare hand yet. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But the CGI felt really off there. And then clearly they didn't really spend much money on a fight choreographer, because the fight scenes are really bad.
That's what we were saying yesterday. We were just like, these fight scenes are awful. Like, it takes the superheroes a good amount of time to like get the better of the bad guys. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, Storm could have, I was just like, anyway. Well,
yeah. Go for it.
So what did you like about, like, what? I don't even know if you liked best.
I liked Hugh Jackman. I actually liked Hugh Jackman.
America's
America's national treasure from Australia. Ryan Reynolds' better half. Sorry, Ryan. I know you listen.
That would be dope.
That'd be really cool. But Hugh Jackman's really great in it. His take on Wolverine is a little different than the comic books, but I think he does a really good job of being that standoffish kind of jerk, but he does it in a very likable way. Mm-hmm. I don't see him as unlikable anywhere in the movie.
Yeah, I think what was interesting for me is even watching it, I'm like, even Hugh Jackman, whether it's how he was written, but I'm like, even he's not a very good actor in this movie.
Character.
Character.
I'm going to say
Okay.
character. Because, you know, he's the straight man in the story. He's the one that is thrown into this weird world. And these characters that, if we step back, are weird characters. Mm-hmm. Not just that they have powers, but they're written weird. They're not well-written characters. Mm-hmm. And then he's supposed to be a response to them. You know, like he comes into this world and he goes, this one's Cyclops, this one's Storm, and then this one is her birth name, Jean Grey.
Also, that bugged me where he just is basically flirting with her.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, and it's like, but I love you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this developed very fast.
It's not earned.
Yeah.
It's not earned. And it's borderline harassment. And I don't know if she's playing it off on a position of like, I feel the same way toward you, or playing it off from a position of I'm uncomfortable and I'm responding in a way that allows me to
I've
get
never
out of
liked
the
the
situation.
Jean Grey Wolverine, and I've wanted to, but I haven't.
It exists in the comics.
Yeah.
And there are storylines where it makes sense. But how they do it in the movie is very well, and now knowing how Bryan Singer treats women, he kind of wrote it the way he assumes it goes down. It's not there's like we said, or I said, nothing earned about that relationship. And really what's funny is in the comics, Cyclops is typically the one that kind of makes bad decisions and is not necessarily the responsible one in a way of his choices and stuff are very determined based on emotion. Same as Wolverine, but Wolverine is so loner that it doesn't affect everyone. And Cyclops is the team leader and it leads to bad things. With that being said, it's so crazy that he is really the voice of reason throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the
like
jerk,
him.
the jerk boyfriend that you're not supposed to like kind of root for. And this time around, I was like, I don't know. I feel like Scott was doing all the right things.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He was okay.
Like he even made the thing. Well, he ruined it by saying the joke that I think we even were like, that was a lame joke. But when
Logan, I had to tell you that she wouldn't be my girl.
Right. Which it was like, good. That's great. Oh, and by the way, Logan, stay away from it.
I know. I was like that was so awful.
You had a shot, champ. What did you like best?
Gosh, I don't know.
The chemistry between McKellen and Patrick Stewart is delightful.
I enjoy Magneto and Xavier's.
I love what they have. There are some points where, and maybe McKellen and Stewart were playing it this way, where it felt very operatic, like there's an exaggeration to it, and maybe that's what they were going for. And if that's the case, I feel like they nailed it. I love McKellen. I love Sir Ian McKellen. He's wonderful. But what was the thing you said when we first saw Patrick Stewart?
I was like, we saw Patrick Stewart, and I was like, what a baby! And
they're like a year or two apart.
And then we saw Ian McKellen, and I was like, I mean, he looks old in this movie already.
Ian McKellen looked his age, and Patrick Stewart looked younger. Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart were in their mid to late 50s when they started filming it. Right? Yeah. I think he's 80. I may be totally wrong. No, yeah.
That lemon bar cookie man is just an experience. Anyway.
What did... Oh, gosh.
We've already been...
How about what is one thing that you could change from the movie that you feel would have really lifted the movie up?
I think either the dialogue or the fight scenes. Like, I think because they both were not compelling, it's like it was kind of like, why am I watching this other than for a now incorrect continuity's sake? Whereas it's like, if it still had some like good action fight scenes, even like for 2000s good, I'd be like, okay, like it was cool.
We just saw Charlie's Angels that was around the same time. Fight choreography existed then.
Yeah. Or like if the dialogue was more, not even necessarily, if there was just more dialogue, like if I could have learned more about all the characters and their relationships and like understood the X-Men universe more, I would have appreciated that.
That's actually an interesting point. I guess dialogue, we'd go into that dialogue question, but also like character development, because what character development is there? We've got Rogue, who is,
this
I don't know,
needy little
16,
girl.
17.
Sorry. Rogue annoys me.
Rogue is outcast by her family, her community. And then she's on the road, and then she gets to this school, and then it's just school as normal. Like, her running away was a boy who like said some bad things to her. It was Mystique, but it was just like,
it lacked so much. I think maybe because it assumed that maybe the only people who would be watching this would be like, quote, the comic book nerds who would have the background knowledge. But
even then, her rendition or her version in the movie is very different than the comics. Very different. Rogue has that absorption, but she also has a whole set of other things, and she may have some emotional. So, like in the cartoon, Jubilee is the one that Rogue is in this movie. She's the teenager who is kind of out on her own and is finding herself at this school and all of that stuff. And in the cartoon, Rogue is an established member who has her own powers and is dealing with her own stuff. And she's probably in her 20s. And so they gave Rogue Jubilee's job. And now we can look back at it and go, maybe that was a bad decision.
Yeah.
Maybe even if they didn't do Jubilee or Rogue for that instance, I feel like they could have done where Rogue wasn't just a teenager.
Yeah.
She could have been in her 20s, maybe a college student.
Yeah. And
you lose that weird.
Yeah. But I think, I like to rephrase, like, it's like the movie, to be better, needed at least one of those two things.
And I think that's why it's pretty common for X2 to be the more popular X-Men movie, because there is character development. You get so much character development in Logan. Like, Logan goes through so much to learn who he is. You have a really compelling bad guy in Stryker. You have all of these things that are going on. And this one, the bad guy is supposed to be the senator. Oh, you think? And then it's Magneto. And even Magneto, like, God bless him, really not that big a deal as far as bad guys go. Yeah. And in the comics and stuff, he's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
He can be. So, I don't know, lot left desired.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character in the movie?
I want to say Logan. I want to say Hugh Jackman. No one else really stands out as a character that I like. I only like Patrick Stewart because I love Patrick Stewart, and I only love Ian McKellen because I love Ian McKellen. But I don't necessarily know that. I have a lot of issues with Professor X in general. I have a lot of issues with the idea of the character. Because if he's supposed to be this powerful mutant, how do we not know that he's not just manipulating these kids to stay? How do we not know that he's not just always using his power?
Ooh, but then now, side note, now that they've redeveloped Professor X in James McAvoy, do you like this rendition of him a little bit more, or do you still feel the same? Sorry, now I'm just genuinely curious. Because you're totally right. And they address it in a weird way in what's the grizzly, the end of
The Wolverine.
the Wolverine. That's
Where the
end.
grizzly bear is? Or when he goes back in time?
The end where Patrick Stewart blows
Oh,
everyone up with
Logan.
his mind. Logan, thank you. I was like, what's the movie called?
There's no grizzly bear in that. That's in the Wolverine.
I meant grizzly as like
oh,
the movie.
he's old. Yeah.
I just think of what's this? Is it Johnny Cash song, right? In it, which one?
Hurt? Isn't it?
Hurt myself. Okay, thank you. I just for whatever reason in my head I'm like, it's a grizzly raw movie, not a grizzly bear. Sorry. Wow.
So, we have the Johnny Cash Logan movie. But so
Sorry, welcome to me.
That he he heard all the. Is that what happened?
I actually want to rewatch that movie to absorb it a little bit more, but if I remember correctly,
I thought it was a mutant. I didn't realize it was.
No, it was Professor X. He got old and couldn't control his mind power anymore, and like brain blasted
a whole community.
Almost every single mutant is how I understood it.
Oh, we got to watch that again because don't.
And Logan was the only one who could survive, plus like a handful of others.
Because he's dumb. No, I don't know.
No, because he has the regenerative power. So.
Oh, his brain just came back.
Yeah, and so Logan takes it upon himself to take care of Professor X. Right. And then, it's kind of this weird thing. And then every time Professor X remembers what he did, we should watch that one next.
Okay. Just to see the beginning and the last one, because that's technically
the closure of that.
Of Logan, at least. We got so thrown off by that sound that so James McAvoy So I think watching this movie, a lot of gray area develops with Professor X because he talks one way, but then he does stuff that makes you go, couldn't you fix this with your power? Or are you the one who's extending this war? Because you don't want to, quote unquote, hurt your friend.
Yeah.
And so, because he won't use his power to do this or that or the other, but he controls Sabretooth and Toad. And then, there were hostages involved. I get that. That's fine. But then there's the scene in X2 where he freezes everyone during a state of, the president's talking to the nation. He freezes everyone, and that's supposed to be his hey, you can trust us. I can control everyone. I want you to know that. It's just a weird power move. So he does this thing where he's trying to show himself as this gentle person on the good side, and yet he does stuff that it's why would you? That was a power move. That was to show that you were more powerful than other people.
Now I want to rewatch all the X-Men movies. Look what you started.
But he to me, sometimes he feels like a kid with a magnifying glass and a swarm of ants. Whether he hurts them or not, he's putting that flame down, so to speak, sometimes. To me, he's a really conflicted character, and the movies don't really do a good job to bring him to a place. And I think they do that more with James McAvoy, but at the same time, he focuses on his failure in physical senses, and sometimes him getting shot is a failure, but it's only because he can't feel his legs, not because people died. I don't know. And then in the Phoenix, which garbage Phoenix was garbage.
I was trying to remember
Dark
that.
Phoenix.
Yeah, that
garbage. It was garbage. But he comes out and he says that he did it. He like erased memories from Jean Grey to help her. And that's kind of what was the catalyst for a lot of the stuff that happened. Mm-hmm. And it was, so now, if the timeline is correct, that Xavier is the same one we're looking at.
I thought about that the other day because the Dark Phoenix was the last of the first class.
It was the last of this X-Men period.
Yeah. So, like, what's next for the X-Men?
Marvel Studios. Marvel owns it.
But I'm just like, are they?
It's new.
It's just going to come.
It has to be completely new. New team, new everything. In the scope, I would assume so because what's happening with the Doctor Strange multiverse.
It's going to be
Wanda,
such a great movie. Because Wanda's
Ant-Man.
Wanda used to be an X-Men, right?
She was Magneto's daughter. Her and Quicksilver were Magneto's kids. And there's a crazy storyline called House of M, and if I'm remembering it correctly, she basically convinces the entire world that Magneto is like king.
Huh.
Yeah. Because her thing is she can alter reality.
But she was in comic book land, she was an X-Men.
She was an X-Men and an Avenger. She was both.
Okay. But she was an X-Men first, right? Oh, sorry. Is that splitting pennies? Is that the...
I don't know. I don't know if that's
this comic
accurate.
book lore is so fascinating to me.
It's
but I wonder that because I remembered Dark
70,
Phoenix was crap. I remembered because I forgot that Jennifer Lawrence was in it, and I remembered, and I was like, I guess spoiler, they killed her off, and it made me so mad.
And they never had a good line, like a good trajectory for her.
Yeah.
It was like, she's good, she's bad, she's good, she's bad, she's bad, she's good, she's good, she's bad. Yeah. And it was like, give her something.
I think I really wanted it to do well because I really like James McAvoy as we're getting super off subject. Can you tell we don't really want to talk about, not that we don't want to talk about
well,
this
I think this is a reflection of the lore, and I think in a lot of ways we watched the movie last night, and I think the conclusion we can come to in this, and we'll give it a grade at the end, but I think the conclusion we can come to in this is that it is not as good a foundation as we once thought it was.
Yes.
And whether that's because the movie scope has been more saturated with good superhero movies, we'll admit it. We really like Spider-Man No Way Home.
If there's a person on this God green earth who doesn't like it, I will stab them.
They exist. But it was...
Just kidding.
We really enjoyed it. And so that compared to this is like night and day.
Yeah.
And... yeah, we can look at a timing thing. We could look at it was 2000 and then this was 2021. There was lots of differences, technology. But at the same time, there were choices. Like there's a lot of emotional range in Spider-Man No Way Home. It's very funny, but it's also very emotional. It's kind of scary. Like Green Goblin is kind of terrifying at points. The problems that Peter has to deal with are very visceral.
Well, it's like that. That's why I'm like, I take it back to the point where, if you take out all the other stuff, it needed to have at least good fight scenes or needed to have better dialogue.
Like one of the things, it was too much like, hey, this is a movie. Put your belief, your sense of reality, just set it off to the side. We're going to warn you that ahead of time. Set it off to the side. Because this is a movie. Nothing's real in this. And I was even saying that because I was complaining about when Jean Grey was speaking for the Senate. And it was like, There's nothing realistic about that. One, if she was going to speak at the Senate, she was probably going to be like interviewed by a panel or something, not the whole Senate. And then two, this one senator just gets to go in and out, interrupt, all that stuff with there was no one holding court. There was just so much that wasn't standard to the Senate, and it was like, why is this even happening? Why does this scene exist? Because this scene wouldn't happen. Stop. Stop. All right.
Well, I think it's time for the review rewind. What review rewind? Okay.
All right. So this is the part of the show where we read positive reviews and negative reviews, and
one of each,
and we see if we agree or find ourselves in the middle. Today, Krista is going to read today and always, honestly, because she's always read the positive review.
Because I'm the good bean.
And I'm going to read the negative review. So, Krista, take it away.
All right. Newsweek gave this movie a 90. For diehard fans, X-Men is full of in-jokes and sly references. For everybody else, there's the thrill of the unknown.
We'll talk about it in a moment. Then we got a 10 out of 100. For the Washington Post, X-Men, derived from the extremely successful Marvel Comics series, isn't juvenile. It isn't even infantile. It's prenatal.
Prenatal. Doesn't slap as hard as you want it to.
No. I understand where they're trying to be like clever. Mm-hmm. It's not good.
Not hitting the right one.
It's not very good. Especially because there was a pretty solid, like, well, I say solid as though I have a joke lined up. I don't have but they could have made an evolution joke and it would have worked. It probably would have worked better than that. I wouldn't give it a 10, but looking back on it for diehard X-Men fans, I don't think it was that great. Mm. And I'm not necessarily like the biggest X-Men fan.
Yeah.
As far as I don't have a ton of X-Men comics or something like that, but I've enjoyed X-Men comics. I've enjoyed the cartoons, and I've enjoyed a lot of the movies.
Not this one.
Not this one.
So what would you rate it, Michael?
Like a D+. Honestly.
I was going to give it just a D, just a solid D.
Like I give it a D+ because it's bordering on C-. Like it has potential, but it has so many missteps.
See, I would maybe give it a higher grade if you at all needed to watch it, if I felt like you needed to watch it for the rest of the movies, but you don't.
Yeah, you could watch the other movies because I think they if you watch X2, I think they explain some of what happened in the first one, and so you kind of don't have to watch
D for disaster
or D+. Well, that was the review rewind
of the week.
And so if you would like to follow us on social media, it's review.rewind.
Rewind?
Rewind. The review rewind.
If you're a comic book nerd like Mike or a comic book movie nerd like me, say what's up.
Yeah, sure. We're on Instagram and we're on Twitter. Twitter.
We're on that.
Twitter, Instagram, and Twitter. Nothing to see here. Our episodes come out every Tuesday, and you can follow us on. Subscribe to our Apple Podcast
Subscribe and save
wherever you listen to podcasts. I think you can subscribe and other things. I feel like that's a very basic thing. I'm Mike.
I'm Krista.
And until next time, keep
be kind. Rewind.
Rewind your view. Oh, one of our children is crying. All right.
In scene.
Bye.